I just anticipate them to win is all. I think it really can be simplified down to that much. A gut instinct, you could call it. But also, I am looking at quite a few facts that we've already established. That Luminosity, their primary way, I think the way that they anticipated to go to LCQ was by taking down Stamina at this stage, not by eliminating Tribe. So there could be some STMN-specific preparation in here, and there very much could be preparation that they did against Tribe to deal with Stamina specifically. So who knows what knowledge is available to either side for this semifinal stage between Luminosity and Tribe Gaming here.
Double swoosh is on the docket, and Reddy and Kenny are going to take you guys into this one. I'm going to step aside. So boys, take it away.
Let's make it happen, Kenny. We're starting off on Double Swoosh, as has been established. A very bushy map, now making its reintroduction to the competitive Brawl Stars map pool.
75-25 as well. It seems a little whack to me, Reddy. I feel like LG certainly deserved more credit here. It's kind of hard to unsee, like I said, what Tribe did earlier. They were phenomenal, the reverse sweep, all the hype around it, but at the end of the day, this one feels more like a coin toss, if anything, than a 75-25 kind of matchup.
Certainly closer than the audience would have you believe. But as we head into Double Swoosh, let's sort of postulate what brawlers are going to be selected here, and also what the lineup for Tribe Gaming is going to be. One thing that I was very impressed by that I actually didn't really anticipate was Tribe Gaming switching up their lineup so frequently. I think that what was more the anticipated outcome for me was that as Livy and Fade would be exchanged. But no, actually Fade stepped in to fill different roles, instead coming in for Zulon. So these four members, they all have specific talents. In a lot of cases, players would consider, oh, so we're playing as a four-man roster? Well, that means when we scrim, one person is not getting practiced. Are we going to have three people that are better prepared than one last member of our roster? Well, Tribe have actually flipped the script now because they've taken advantage of a four-man roster to diversify the talents in exchange based on what the needs are of a specific motor map.
It's really interesting to see, and I kind of love it, to be honest with you. It's not an easy thing to deal with four human beings who are all really good at this game. I mean, you gotta set some egos aside sometimes, and just seeing the preparation this week, when peeking in at some of the scrims that Tribe had, they were mixing and mingling just like we saw earlier. I love this. I'm curious if it's a matchup-dependent thing, if it's a map-dependent thing. Like you said, it's definitely a skill set. All of these guys have their strong suits for sure, but a very interesting draft as well. I mean, talking about just the team composition, now the brawler composition. Pearl is a first overall pick. I think it's a fine brawler on Double Swoosh for sure. I think the visibility, you can cook up Pearl. Our casual audience might not like her as much as in the reality, she's a pretty good brawler. The Janet, though, and now an Amber alongside it. This is a really interesting just team in general.
Consider also that we just watched Luminosity beat a team running both Amber and Janet on this specific map, and Lily is open once again. Now, I don't know if they're really going to run it, but it did seem to be quite effective into the Janet, not quite into the Amber. Wow, it's like we're playing a broken record out here because so many of the brawlers have remained consistent. I will say a good 2/3 of the draft, at least in terms of brawler picks, and excusing also the map, are the exact same as the set that we just watched Luminosity win.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And also, if you end up getting one of the better brawlers in the game, and Lily, I mean, why not? I mean, LG obviously with a more tried and true, a more regular composition, if you will, something I would expect. Pearl and Janet, definitely not that. I will say, though, Tribe is a team that haven't been afraid to whip out this Janet here every once in a while. I believe it was literally last year, final month, similar situation. I had a good conversation with Corey about some of the things that he liked about Janet, even not being the most meta brawler. The visibility is a factor. The super, where you can get into the air, allows you to be a safe gym carrier. It literally can't be harmed, but Patchy running this Lily is a very scary proposition.
Unlucky for Fade, looks like he didn't get the 6K he was hoping for, and Patchy ends up almost getting that kill on a Zulon. We'll see Charles holding onto these gyms to the best of his ability. Chino occupying the right side and competing at range versus Fade, actually getting some quite good damage, considering also the range that Fade boasts on this Amber.
Fade just gonna be hanging around with Zulon, who again can drop that gadget, just get visibility of the entire side. Especially with Amber, they can tear open this map a little bit too, so if Fade can drop a super on that right-hand lane, typically we're gonna see an Amber player go. It's fine. Zulon's gonna have to have some quick reflexes though. Patchy is lurking, he takes to the skies and will get away safely.
You talk about reflexes, that's about as quick as it gets. He survives with 600 health, but now it's a 2v2 at mid with Patchy falling. Zulon now assumes the role of right lane. Nice super there from Chino to get the takedown. It's a lot of bushes and obstacles missing on the side of Tribe Gaming. Chino occupies this left side. Patchy in for the double kill, running away with 6 gems and a countdown for Luminosity.
Pop-off potential certainly there with Lily. That's one of the reasons you're going to see her on this map. Just a gadget and a hop, skip, and a jump away. One super is enough to get out of arm's reach. And Chino plays bodyguard just long enough to keep Tyrant at bay. Nicely played there. And Luminosity taking away game number 1.
Excellently executed by Luminosity. The Lily was a game changer. That double kill at the end of the game. It's not often that Lily will make it this deep into the draft. And I will honestly attribute that to the rise of stuff like Gale, for instance. But when you have Gale on your side, then you can pretty safely run that Lily. Though, another thing that I will note, Tyrant, he's going to be hanging on that super for much of the game. So as long as Patchy actually doesn't super on a Tyrant, then he should be relatively safe, considering also that Fade. Look at this, once again, pops the gadget, but it has almost no value, considering that he's not getting that 6k damage that you can sometimes get as Amber with the gadget.
I think Lily was totally fine with the trade there as well. An exhausted gadget still gives them positioning. Now Patchy back in action here too. Zulon still got 3 gems. They're able to hold on, but that right side certainly started leaning Luminosity's way. This is just a problem though. Fade can keep the distance, throw that flamethrower down on the right hand, and if things start to open up a little bit, it's going to get even more troublesome for something like a Lily who needs to be up close.
Patchy's holding onto the super once again. No impact on the Fade. Still gets the kill, but Zulon is here to eliminate. On the left side, Tyrant's getting slowed down by Chino. Still gets the burn on Chino, and then the elimination. Uses all of the heat in his oven to get the takedown. Patchy's going to run forward with yet another gadget. Can he get the jump on Zulon? Well, Zulon can see him through that wall. Patchy decides, nah, not even going to go for it. We're going to go for Fade. And Charles gets to advance at the right lane as a result.
Zulon now backed up just a little bit. This one's pretty 50-50 in terms of the gym count. It's slight advantage to try, but the next one, of course, spawns with Luminosity. Now Patchy creeping up. Reflexes needed once again. 688 feels like a pretty similar number to last time, but Zulon on the money. Patchy with 59, also with a narrow survival, though.
It's a good thing Tyrant tanked that last shot from Crow for Zulon, otherwise he would have gone down. But for now, Luminosity have that mid control, and they have a slight advantage in terms of gems. Just one more gem. They'll be able to start a countdown. Hypercharge popped by Chino around the right lane. Gets him the kill on Tyrant. Could be a big pinch on the Fade, but Fade still secures the kill nonetheless. A countdown for Luminosity with Charles holding all 10 gems. Chino dies in the forward position. We've got 10 seconds left. Charles is safe and sound here with the super. Just a use of the super can keep him in the sky where he's far away from the clutches of Tribe Gaming. Nice and safe. The clock ticks down to 0, and Luminosity gets set number 1, 2-0. Now, time for something a little different, though. Canal Grand. It's going to be East versus West, most likely. We're also looking at optimal ways to get that blue star. It's tough to get in position, and also, once you have gotten your position at mid, it is difficult to remove you. So it is essential to get there first, or at least just to win the first battle.
I'm curious to see the ban stage here, because at monthly qualifiers, we didn't necessarily have to deal with Barry, but now we're in a different world. Angelo, of course, was the most banned brawler, 74%. Lily up there. Eve's an interesting one globally. I don't know how North America's necessarily going to take it. Looks like it's still a priority, though. It's going to be in that ban on the right-hand side. Larry Laurie in there as well, so kind of daring them to take throwers. I mean, there's a lot of good options here for that category.
Okay, RT for selection. Now, RT is good at a couple things. It honestly feels like, in many cases, that RT is good at everything. It's a good thing that he got some balance changes. That was a bit over a year ago by this point, but he has crept back in. Has some different ways that you can play him. Jackie. So we have the part-time Jackie and the full-time Jackie going head-to-head here, because that's the thing that RT does besides being a sharpshooter. Get double Jackie hits on someone in close range by separating top from bottom and getting impact damage in the radius.
They're going to pair that with a thrower, too. I just feel like we're in a meta where having a thrower benefits you tremendously. Obviously, Gale out of the picture here, too. There's still some other brawlers that we do see on this map that are anti-tank kinds of brawlers. They could also take a tank of their own. I feel like Surge might not be a bad shout here, right? Something into throwers like Barley matches up pretty well with Jackie. If you keep the distance, obviously, if Jackie's up in your face, it's pretty impossible for anybody, but I feel like that might be something that checks several boxes. There's a lot of different ways I think you can go here. We've occasionally seen things like Ims for that area control. This isn't the kind of composition, though, where I feel like you're likely going to pair an Im, so I feel like they're going to look elsewhere to deal with that Jackie.
Okay, so how do they react to it, really is the question here. Some kind of anti-tank, maybe, or they could ignore it completely. Surge is their reaction to all of this. Now, Surge is going to be weak in that early game into everything except for the Jackie. So all this ensures is that they don't get pushed too hard by the Jackie until Surge has been weakened. So Tribe Gaming will need to look for a way to do this, perhaps outrange him. They don't have a sharpshooter on their side just yet. Note also that Barry has not been selected or banned here. They'll go with Squeak, though, as their secret weapon.
These animals, they're doing it twice. They're doing it again. I mean, I have not been the biggest Squeak fan. I don't think he's the best brawler overall in the game. At a professional level, though, it changes up quite a bit when you throw in the draft. But if you're just running around ladder with a Squeak, you're getting run over by Lilies, by Franks. But if you look at the other end right now, it's Tick, it's Surge, it's RT. They're not going to be steamrolling their way down the sidelines. I mean, you can kind of play area control here, especially considering outside of, what, maybe a weird Tick super that clips a wall? There's going to be no wall break here. I mean, Squeak used to be played in the olden days here, back when he's more meta-relevant. I kind of get it.
So question of the day, who gets that blue star? Fade's going to pop that speed early on. Maybe he was expected to go for the right side, instead goes for the left, but taken down by Chino, who's already advanced to the next level. Now, that was going to be hard to get. He's been given it for absolutely free by Fade on this Jackie. Now that Luminosity have the advantage, they can play defense. In fact, the Tick outranges all of these opponents. They still have to be careful not to get backed up too much, and they could certainly benefit from another kill. It would put them ahead by, well, 3 stars instead of 1. But for now, they look to be nice and cozy over here.
You're going to notice that Chino's glued to Fade right now. That is their best anti-tank option. They're being backed into this corner, though, now dropping a little bit of static. Fade going for the super, does remain alive. Patchy with low HP, and Tyrant gets the takedown alongside Fade here. As Livy still flanked on this right-hand end, does get that area control. They're going to let off the gas pedal just a little bit, though. Retreat into these bushes where they can stay invisible.
That march forward from Patchy felt needlessly aggressive, but it almost got them to kill into Fade. It looks like they underestimated the amount of shots that Fade had remaining, or the distances he was able to cover in a short period of time. We'll see another gadget down from Tyrant on the back left side. Meanwhile, Patchy's pushing it on the right, avoiding all that damage from his Livy with the use of the super, getting one takedown, but it's still just a trade as his Livy falls. But now Chino occupies this right side, so the script still remains the same as earlier. Tribe Gaming are in the lead. Hypercharge in from Charles. And a Tick super all the way on the back lines, marching forward. This minefield on the left, no damage on the Tyrant, but he is locked in the back left corner.
Is Livy doing a great job on one of his most iconic brawlers, one that's not meta-relevant. Fade falls, though. That is a tough trade to swallow if you're Tribe Gaming, because now Luminosity got a 1-star lead with a shot clock available.
That was a kill from Charles on a Tyrant. It looks like the impact of the Tick super took him down. Patchy with another kill as a clock ticks down. Tribe Gaming desperately need kills, but there's nothing in sight. Luminosity will take game 1 of set 2.
That felt like a game where Tribe definitely could have had it, right? I feel like the tides really turned there when Jackie fell. I think maybe overestimating, maybe just feeling the need to get aggressive so that it could survive those final 15 seconds. Because they win that interaction, very different game, obviously. Jackie's going to grab a kill. Those stars are going to go down a little bit differently. But I think LG did a great job of just being patient there. They didn't panic early game when they were stuffed into their spawn. They just let it play out, got that last second, and used a little bit of a momentum swing to run that clock down just enough with a lead to get a win.
There's no way. Well, it's a good thing that they got the trade in the end. Patchy taken down by Tyrant, but he almost escaped. So this is what we discussed about RT that we're now seeing before our very eyes, that there are a couple ways to play this brawler. You can play it with the Jackie form. You can play it also as a sharpshooter. And that also goes into your gadget selection here. Patchy's decided to go for the relatively new gadget out of line, which allows you to get your super back for free. So you can afford to go aggro as more of a tanky brawler and then retreat back to the place where you separated your head from your base. It got him the kill on the Fade earlier, but it didn't quite let him escape. We see a big push in here on the right side. Patchy doing the exact same thing and profiting as a result, but they're still not ahead of Tribe.
He got a gadget off in time, or excuse me, a super off in time too, to kind of backtrack, get out of that situation, and preserve his life. I feel like as Livy's just been herding sheep this whole time, though, kind of shepherding LG the direction they want him to go. And Tyrant with a little area control as well can kind of force them back. And Fade obviously hiding behind this indestructible wall. Tick can chip away, can't kill, and now they're going for gold. Fade looks for one, no kill available though. That was nearly disastrous for Luminosity.
It almost, though, looked as if Tribe Gaming would have lost a member there. They would have lost Fade and handed a couple of stars over to the other side. We'll see Fade once again having to disarm the Tick Super. This was a hypercharge this time. They're kept from pushing forward. But still, Luminosity seriously needs some kills. Tribe Gaming have immense survivability. They also have Fade equipped with a hypercharge, but the damage from Tick just keeps coming in. Fade also doesn't have a gadget left, so he can't get extremely speedy off the end. It's time for Luminosity to push in. Just 10 seconds remaining.
And now Fade going to be charging it as well. They've got the blue star lead, so it comes down to this. 5 on the clock, and Chino's flanking. Fade, body blocking for everybody. Patchy has to fade away. They're looking to grab a kill. Can't quite do it as the clock expires. Nicely played to Tribe, who barely hold on.
This was extremely well played. Very, very passively played at times. We see a strategy being implemented by Luminosity that I would argue is actually more characteristic of Tribe. If you ask players about what it's like to play in the Tribe, they will say they are so patient, they let you make the mistakes, and then they punish you. And what we've seen from Luminosity, wow, early take there for Fade to grab the blue star. Excellently done. But from Luminosity, what they've been doing this time is they let Fade get aggro, and then they let Patchy come in and punish. It certainly didn't work there, though.
The word that comes to mind kind of along those lines with Tribe for me is discipline. They're not going to make too many mistakes. They're very calculated with their approach, but with this new brawler on their side in Fade, I feel like it just adds a little flair of aggression for them, right? They've got a guy who's one of the best in North America at playing tanks. We've seen what he can do on Buster. That applies to a lot of different, just aggressive options, and now that they have that, I think that just helps their confidence a little bit. They're not afraid to just go in there early like we saw and send Fade flying.
Well, Fade's kind of all alone here on the left side. He knows better than to push forward because he doesn't want to feed Chino anymore. Chino, unlike previous rounds, has been kept on level 1 this entire time. We're counting down to the final minute of this game. Still has no value. He's going to pop a gadget to get his level 2 temporarily, but still no value. Fade is playing so far back, and his Livy is occupying this choke at mid so that Chino can't get through.
The squeak pick, I mean, it's working out for me. I think it's been doing a great job so far without any wall break really on the other end. He can just kind of have his way. This is an old-timey brawler that is nowhere near as good as he used to be in the stats category, but seeing him executed here by one of the best in the business at Squeak is awesome to see.
As Livy has that mark over him, but he's still safe and sound. Luminosity are just looking for anything possible. They have just enough time to send Chino on sort of a recon mission all the way around that left side and maybe get a pinch as a result. We'll see Charles take massive damage, still heals up in the end. That Tick Super from him made no impact on the Fade on the left side. Tribe Gaming have gadgets upon gadgets, but what they don't have is positioning. We'll see Fade reposition himself to the right side. Meanwhile, on the left, as Livy, Tyrant staying alive with the use of the gadgets. Tyrant still has one left. Hypercharge, Tick Super in. This entire right choke has been locked in. Fade still staying alive. No kills on a Tribe Gaming. A 3-star margin hands this set to Tribe Gaming. They got them all the way back to their spawn, but they just ran out of time. We're moving into a mode, though, where you can't back up all the way to your respawn towards the end of the match to ensure your success. No, you are forced into the middle, and we're doing it Bell's Rockway.
Kit's the first brawler that comes to mind on this map in particular, especially in a professional level and on this KO map in particular. I think Kit is a great win rate, is an awesome brawler, one of the better brawlers I would say overall in the entire game if you're looking to push it home. I just feel like you can power up so many different allies, and the worst thing that happens is you don't have a natural synergy, say with a tank or assassin. You're just diving on enemies and grabbing kills, stunning the enemy side. I just feel like even playing B for Kit is better than most brawlers playing A.
Well, bans are in, and the first selection goes to Tribe Gaming. They've gotten rid of the Sprout as well as the Kit. Kit is such a frustrating brawler to play against these days. We'll see the Rico early selection. That could either be Zulon, that could be as Livy. Honestly, I think that either one of these guys could really rock it. We'll see as Livy is on it for now. Now Luminosity have a couple of ways to react to this Rico. This one's a challenging one. He holds lane super effectively, but at the same time, if you get close to him, then he's just going to nuke you. He's going to pop multi-ball launcher. It does ridiculous damage in close range, and it can be a good asset towards the end of the match. So RT would also be a valuable selection here for either team. We'll see the Buster approach. There's the RT that we alluded to just a moment ago. And you'll note how this RT was played by Patchy just in the previous round. He made pretty good use of it. Chino on this Buster, I think, also takes it out of the hands of Fade, should he be playing for Tribe Gaming this round. And also is, as usual, it's great to be able to reflect damage as things close in with the smoke approaching.
Another interesting one, Tribe Gaming calling their shot. This time it's going to be Pearl, a brawler in the monthly qualifiers that was not top 15 in wins as an individual brawler for this map. And again, we're going to see Luminosity just rely on what's tried and true. I think RT, a better brawler than people probably realize right now, especially on these game modes in particular, where we've seen him having that static Jackie form, Jackie Jr., if you want to call it, whatever you want to coin it as you cleverly did earlier. It's not the easiest thing towards those in-game circles, especially when paired with a Buster. I mean, that is a fearsome duo as that fog closes in. I like this grab of Larry Laurie, though. That's about as good of a throw as you're going to get.
Pretty much also with Sprout out of the running for possible brawlers to be selected here. I mean, what do you really do into that? I guess you could tick if you really wanted to. Thing is that you're not going to get the kind of damage that Larry and Laurie is capable of, and once that clone approaches you, it's going to be tough. So I now rescind what I was saying earlier. Possibly, I think that this Larry is very, very playable for his Livy. It's a bit of a characteristic brawler of him. He's very good at it. We'll see Barley selection here from Luminosity. Don't see this one on this map terribly often, though he is still good, and you have the use of the Herbal Tonic to keep your team alive in the end. And if Luminosity are leaning on the health that Chino and Patchy have, the survivability and the power that they have in close range, then this may be the way to go, the survivability route. Though they should be cautious, because as Livy can reach around corners and get damage from there, Fade can damage them over the walls while remaining out of mid, and Tyrant also is a master survivalist on this Pearl.
We'll see how it goes down. Set number 3. Both sides need this one for sure. It's 1-1 overall, and taking a lead against a tough postseason opponent, somebody that could be in their future depending on how things play out, would be big for the confidence and much easier road to victory if they want the holy grail of this esport. And they're going to play back a little bit as Livy taking to the mid. And like you said, this is why Rico can be so strong in this map, just utilizing this indestructible wall, the bounce shots, the angles. It's what he does best.
The mid Rico is so strong on this map. I'm honestly a little curious as to why it isn't played more often. But with the re-entry of Bell's Rock to the competitive map pool, and also Rico getting a hypercharge in basically the same breath, I can now see why it is so prevalent. So as Livy has this super at the ready, though Patchy has that montage ready to go as soon as his Livy uses it, and turning all those projectiles against him. So as Livy is sort of stopped from using the super until Patchy goes for it, he's going to throw it around the right side, totally unexpected there. And Chino would have survived even if Charles had not thrown down that gadget, but still, it's always useful to have some healing on your side. Early takedown, Apache, Chino falls as well, and Charles, the last one to go.
I mean, is Livy rocking that newer skin really well right now? Using that hypercharge, cycling those supers like a madman. I mean, he didn't get a kill on that first go, but it was enough to basically charge up hypercharge in his second super instantly. Patchy had nowhere to walk, just wonderful plays using these angles to perfection and making LG really back up and go down pretty quickly.
Once again, it's brawlers that these guys are comfortable on, as Livy gets to pop off on this Rico. We saw him do it versus Stamina. He found that angle versus Chino earlier. And Chino's completely undefended by Patchy at the moment. So if his Livy decides to chuck a super that way, he absolutely can. But I think Chino's also staying in a position where he's less vulnerable. Massive damage on Apache. I don't think he was expecting that one to hit. Looked like it was going to go down mid instead. Now that Patchy is out of a super, his Livy's got to be approaching his once more. He can get some value from there.
As Livy's still a strong force in this mid. Fade working this left-hand side. And now Chino rushing down the right. Tyrant's been forced away a little bit. Gonna have to be careful here because this fog's gonna start to close in, so positioning is gonna be everything, and currently it's Tribe's favor.
As Livy's taken out his protractor, he's hitting all these angles with the burn from Tyrant. Patchy finally taken down, but it's a 2v2 now. Chino gets some value over here, but still Fade remains alive with 460 health. It's a game to Tribe.
Great game from Tribe. Just overall, all 4 members of this team have been humming here today. It really feels like they're starting to come into form. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And obviously, Tribe Gaming started this year with a huge W over the team on the other end right now in that grand finals. It was a pretty convincing one. And since then, it hasn't been quite the same. It's a hard region. It's a hard esport to be consistent in. Right now, they're certainly putting up a fight.
I just don't really see that much that can be done by Luminosity here. They're facing as Livy, who has massive range with the use of these walls. He has incredible reach around these walls where Luminosity can't do too much. He's still able to hit them. And Fade, the exact same role. And he outranges Charles. It's another thing to note as well. So Luminosity are taking a different approach. They're not wasting their efforts up here at mid. They've fallen back to recover. Oh my gosh, what a play from his Livy. The takedown on Charles, it came from absolute nowhere.
I'm so about his Livy's gameplay right now. A cheeky little pin pop there with a little wink. I love it. Giving some great energy and some great takedowns. He's got another one, close to a third, but Tyrant going to be the last one to strike there. This Rico gameplay, unreal from the Tribe side.
Man owns the map. Must be using walls or something. Well, as Livy is certainly making use of them to propel his projectiles a little further at mid, sort of outranging Chino. Chino still gets one tap on him, but as Livy is safe and sound. Luminosity have returned to their former approach. They haven't gotten a single round win just yet. Tribe Gaming took 2 in a row last game. They're taking the first one of this game. They can take the entire set without any mistakes. No kills just yet on either side. It's going to take a poison cloud to push these guys.
As Livy hasn't even used Hypercharge yet, they got out of that first round so quickly that he's now got the combination ready. It's not going to get as much value this time, but he's cycling in more shots. So many shots bouncing off these walls. What are you supposed to do? The footwork insane right now from Patchy, though. He ends up surviving his Livy down to 580. If they're not careful, Tribe might lose a member.
Charles doing the best he can. He's already used all of his gadgets, and Tyrant is still alive. Patchy now occupies them in. And we see the poison now starting to close things in. Take down, but it's just a trade. Fade and Tyrant still alive here. Take down to Chino's base, maybe. Take down onto Tyrant. Charles remains alive. Fade needs a damage, and he gets it. That's the set for Tribe. So do you think they get the Rico once again? Because Rico is so good on this map. Bans coming in. Rico, first thing that Tribe Gaming get rid of. As well as that Gale and the Barley, they do have first pick, so they're focusing less on the most OP brawlers here, though they will certainly with their first pick. So this is curious. They're going to go for wall break here, and they're also picking a tank quite early. It gives Luminosity ample opportunities to respond. They might want to pick up the Colette here. They're going to be missing walls, and they're also going to be playing into a tank. Nita is an excellent way to respond to this one, given that you have a stun that you can equip with the gadget, and you're going to be getting plenty of value off of that Frank. Only hazard, though, is that he's going to be breaking down walls, and Nita gets pretty weak when she doesn't have her walls.
Ooh, Nita and Dynamite. What a 1-2 punch coming in from LG here. Curious to see how Tribe responds as Livy subbing out, Zulon back in. So I think this is just kind of the roster they're going to use when they just want to get aggressive ready. They've already picked up the Frank. Now they're going to grab the Kit. No. Here comes a nasty combination.
So Kit's going to get crazy value on the Dynamite, I expect. But he also has a second way of playing here, which is typically not the way that Kit is played. I feel like it's actually quite black and white. Kit, much like Kit himself, actually, where Kit will go for stuns and get the team CC, or he will backpack on someone. Check this out. Carl also coming in to counter that early thrower selection from Luminosity. I honestly think that this is going to be a tough draft for Luminosity to deal with. They will go for the Colette as anticipated, though. It's going to be a way for them to deal with the Frank, and Dynamite can also blow this map open if they need to. Just means that Nita and Dyna will be missing some of those walls.
I think Colette is a fantastic answer here. I'm surprised it didn't come to my mind sooner. Just into Frank, going to be great, obviously. And into Carl, too. That's not a bad matchup.
Well, here we go. Tribe Gaming off to the races, seeking that early mid control. Trying not to feed Patchy. On the right side, Charles, I don't think he really got one of the lane matchups that he wanted to, considering that Tyrant can very easily get a gadget in and take him down. But Chino is still ready to eliminate Tyrant if he gets too aggressive. Now, Zulon backpacking on the fade. How much DPS are we going to see come through? Well, a missed gadget from Frank means one thing. We'll see Chino also pop a gadget, but still no value just yet. They may wait for this Kit to dismount from Frank before going for a play. There's the immunity to the stun as well. That's one gadget from Fade in exchange for one gadget from Patchy.
Big brained interaction right there, and now Carl taking off the sideline on the right-hand end. Fade, marching it down, Kit diving, and there's the trade that they need, and now it's going to be a 2v1 situation. Chino has a lot on his hands. Fade breaking open this right-hand side, allows for Tyrant to walk it in. Fantastic 1-2 punch.
That was so smart from Chino, too. He supered into the goal to avoid getting stunned, but he didn't have the DPS to eliminate Tyrant, much less the super to push him away. That was a checkmate from Tribe Gaming. There was no play for Luminosity from there. The use of a stun from Patchy, it doesn't really have much impact on Fade, though he is having to push back, taking quite a bit of damage along the way. Tyrant pinched here on the right side. This is a wide open goal if they can get it past Fade, and he has the gadget to pull them back. They're trying to bait it. Here comes the hypercharge from Chino. He needs that healing, gets it off of Fade. It's a wide open left side of the goal, and we're tied.
They trade out opening that net. Really well played. And the more this opens up, I think the better it caters towards Luminosity. They're going to have to utilize this entire combo on the left-handed. Chino go wide open, has a super shot fire. Oh! Intercepted! Tyrant, perfect precision.
What a play from Tyrant. Pinpoint precision. But how far will that go? He's had to use a gadget to get there. There's the nuke on Azulon. It's 3v2. More in from Charles, but Fade avoids it. It's 3-on-1. Fade stunned. Pops the gadget to get out of it, but it's just too late. We need this. We need to see this again. What a crazy play from Tyrant. This man is insane at Carl.
It's wild. Like, Luminosity just scored. They should be pumped. That was unbelievable. Unbelievable defense. I mean, thank goodness Luminosity scored, because the Tribe come away with that game. I can't imagine momentum swings back their way. That was insane.
This is the level. It's a literal monthly final between the two teams that are going to be representing this region on an international stage. But the fight right now is for who has the potential to represent this region at Worlds. It'll be either Tribe Gaming or Luminosity, provided the outcome, that Elevate match that we have awaiting after this one. But Luminosity, for now, have achieved Game 1. They've stopped the win streak of Tribe Gaming after what appeared to be impossible to deal with. Nice stun there. Chino taken down. Zulon also exchanged. And the two best things to deal with Frank still remain. But Tyrant's going to aggro. He's got the kill on Patchy. Looks for another on Charles, where he's almost defenseless. Going for a kill on Tyrant, where he's still vulnerable to Chino. But still, that was a clean double kill for Tyrant, given that he also remains alive.
Big time, too, because they wasted a Dynamite Super. That could be very valuable at opening up the other side of the map. That's how they got their first goal and honestly led to their second. Now Zulon looking for the first of their own. Fade swipes away, clobbers his way to the other end. Hypercharge goes down. Tyrant has a super shot, fires it right at Chino, forces it into his hands, and gets the following pickaxe there to try and get the kill. This time, though, not quite enough. Patchy might have an opportunity to take it the other way.
It's been so close for Tribe Gaming to score a goal. They pass the ball forward and get the shot, but their enemies drop to about 200 HP, and they can still block the ball from going in. I feel like, honestly, those are some very deserved goals for Tribe Gaming, and Luminosity escaped battered, bruised, but still just barely alive. We'll see Fade avoid a stun there from Charles that could have been absolutely massive. Here comes the backpack once again, and it's passed up to Tyrant. He's equipped with the super and a gadget, but no kills, no damage really on Luminosity just yet. Huge super in from Chino, but no kill confirmation. Tyrant has the chance to heal up, but he stays on the back lines where he could actually be quite vulnerable. Stunned there. Fade has to get out of there, and so does Zulon. This ball is now retrieved from the corner. Chino has the hypercharge to potentially put this one in.
And Zulon going invisible, out of eyesight for just a moment, but they kill confirm immediately after. Charles now lobbing up shots, and this open space does not favor Tribe Gaming. With LG kind of hurled around this ball and 15 to go, they're trying to end things before this even gets to overtime.
Whoa, what a combo there on the Fade on the right side. Zulon with a jump forward to avoid the big barrel of boom. Chino's looking for the angle, slips right past Zulon. Tyrant can't snag it this time. Luminosity with the goal at the end of the game. No one can retrieve it. A set win for Luminosity and a set 5 incoming. A lot hinges on this. They're seeding at stake 2, as well as some good old-fashioned catch money. Let's get it started. Pick one for Tribe Gaming.
Let's have some fun. Set 5, high stakes, and it's Barry who finally shows himself here. He's honestly escaped the ban phase several times today, and still teams have not gone for him quite yet. We saw that more on Knockout, on Bounty. That's where kills are the priority, not on parallel plays. This guy is a menace. He's going to heal. He's going to do damage. He's got that Barley-esque feature where his shot lingers. This guy's going to be a problem.
I will caution you also, though, against the offensive capabilities here of Barry, because it feels like he can do just about everything. He has excellent damage. He's got 3k damage if he hits you with his super. You see Meg, a high health brawler that's great in close range as an approach to deal with this. Gale is also super strong. Could jump pad you over to the point if you want it. But Barry's still going to be an issue for both of these. They're indestructible walls here. Neither of these brawlers are tailored to do anything around those walls. Now Amber in to deal with potentially a last-minute aggro pick, or also something that simply runs at them and can get some fire field down to do damage over the walls.
Amber going to be a good selection here. Going to pair quite well with the Barry, I think. Just some area control, area denial. Let's have a time ready. A set 5, a Worlds ticket possibly on the line for a winner here. Let's go Buzz. Let's let Fade do his thing. This is going to be awesome to watch. Buzz with the stun and the hypercharge. It's just a man swinging down sidelines that can be so entertaining to watch. I think this is just an overall composition that can work. However, Cordelius coming in to remove hypercharges and Buzzes going to be extremely valuable to Luminosity.
When I look at Tribe Gaming, though, what I see is 3 brawlers that this team is super, super good at playing. I think that this may just be their meta now with the addition of Fade, because Fade on this Buzz, there's just nothing else quite like it in NA. If you ask me, Tyrant on the Amber, ask any pro, and they will say that Tyrant's Amber is absolutely fearsome to play. There are also rumors that he does each single projectile individually, but I think that's really just owing to how terrifying this is. And then as Livy, definitely, if you ask me, the best throw player in this entire lobby. I think that Tribe Gaming have an all-star lineup player and brawler-wise. Luminosity will have to find some sort of approach to deal with this. They've gotten good brawlers on their side. They have great players on their side, but not quite fitting as well as Tribe Gaming's composition. Fits like a glove for them.
Tyrant multitasking so well there. Defends home court, and now Tyrant able to claim an anchor down here on this left-hand end. Fade and his Livy, though, rushing to the other side. As Livy just there to power up Fade, dives forward, goes at the face of Charles, and just pummels him with ice cream, all melting across the board there. Patchy just having to deal with his Livy, play a little ring around the rosies. Chino forced to jump over a wall, waste a gadget just to get the takedown.
We might see Fade fall. Chino needs to line up these shots. Fade's just so good at dodging, and he gets his super as a result of staying alive in that interaction. We'll see Chino now migrate over to the enemy side, puts as Livy inside of the realm so that perhaps Patchy can get that super back. Excellent stun, but Fade still stays alive in that interaction on the home front.
Fade can have a really hard time into Patchy with the super choice that he's using too. And good news for the side of LG. They've got some extra percentage points here, but as Livy breaking away right hand into hypercharge for Fade, he's diving right at Chino here, but a Shadow Realm removes him. This is now an advantage for Chino. Fade going to be on the underworld and goes down instantly. Tyrant caught off guard here as well, and now things going south for Tribe.
Oh, Chino's been a monster on the enemy side. Fade now in with the extra torpedo. Chino pops him in the hypercharged Shadow Realm as Livy's going for the other side, but they're at a deficit for the time being. He's got to circle around. That's wasted time running to the enemy side. Clearly got the comms to come back and get some defense. We're 12% away from a win for Luminosity. They own this point on the back left, counting up to 100. Tribe know that it's over. Gotta see a new approach as Luminosity advance to match point.
I think it would have been really difficult for Tribe Gaming to overtake that even with a full 3-man stack. But I think that that's some questionable decision-making, right? Maybe a conflict there, trying to trust in the 2 guys, saying, hey, I think you guys can do this. I'm going to try and get those last few points, because they end up getting 3 takedowns there, and his Livy's up top. That's a win for Tribe. But he had to circle back, and like it called out, that's just wasted time. I don't think they were decisive enough there, and that's the difference maker in matches like this.
Regardless of the outcome of this match, that is going to be one that they remember and revisit as Livy going to the other side. It is small, and maybe it had little impact on the outcome of the match, but it does matter that you are where the play is. Patchy getting the kill on a Tyrant with the use of a star power, and as Livy also taken down by Chino. Luminosity playing supreme defense here. Patchy taken down by Fade as he was out of the mech and couldn't get a super back in time. Missed Shadow Realm there from Chino as he tries to keep as Livy in spawn, but as Livy can just continuously back away. Chino still gets it, as you can see in the kill feed, and Charles on the right side goes down. Now Fade gets to occupy this, but he's pinched by Chino, who's in the perfect position on the right side. Another Shadow Realm for the guy, and another elimination of his Livy.
Pop off from Chino, doing a good job at assisting the teammate up top and immediately rushing down to the other end, getting a favorable matchup. Now as Livy's just kind of stuffed in a corner here, Fade forced to dive in, and it's still not enough. Fade taking down to the other end, but again, percentage points leaning towards Luminosity. Tyrant going down here too. It's going to be a full 3-stack for LG on the bottom left.
Tribe Gaming trying their best to defend this left side. They're going to have to respawn before they do so, as Livy has that super, but he's going to get rejected by Charles if he decides to go aggro. Maybe he can help his team by healing up, but it doesn't really look possible. There's one kill, pushed back by Charles, the double stun, but Fade is here to defend. He's blasted away by Patchy. Tyrant and Fade remain alive for the defense, 99%. All it takes is one more push in from Luminosity.
Fade going down there, and now a Shadow Realm pull as well. Chino rushing forward, thumbs down coming out, and they get the final percentage point necessary. Luminosity with an outside shot at World Finals.